What's the motherfucking deal? Do not call the Denline right now because it ain't open. What's the motherfucking deal? Man, welcome to the Den. If you're not familiar with the Den is a friendly conversation. It is where you can express yourself without too much judgment. But again, you're more than welcome to express your feelings, your thoughts, your vibe, whatever you feel about the topic of the evening. And tonight's topic, man, we're going to have an interesting topic because I was watching something. I'll get into what I was watching or what I saw, a little bit of news that took place today. Excuse me for that. And a little bit of news that I saw today. And I saw people claiming that it was a bunch of hating going on. And so I want to talk about honesty or hating. You know, is there a difference? And I know, of course, if you're hating, you're just saying some shit that's overly opinionated. Yeah, that would be hating. But I'm saying if you're saying something that's true about someone, but it's not favorable or flattering, is that hating or is that honesty? Or, you know, should you always be honest in every situation, even when, you know, somebody's down, it may seem like you're kicking them while they're down or whatever else it may be. But we're going to get into the discussion and we're going to talk about some things tonight in the Den. But before that, we'll see who we got joining us tonight. We're going to see which friends in the Den are joining us. And before we run that down, make sure you follow the Den on the gram. You know, you're already on the tube, the Twitter and the Facebook at Den Show Live, whichever platform it is, /Den Show Live. Make sure if you're on Facebook, join the Den Facebook group. Like I said, I'm going to get that more active. Today was a sluggish day. I stayed up a little bit later than I anticipated last night. And, you know, well, there's that. I know I was supposed to be done with these, but I actually had one left I didn't realize. So I'm going to burn this and finish this and be done with the Miles and Black. It's just so much better in the Den when you talk a little shit. So, like I said, we're going to talk about that. We're going to see who we got joining us. And, you know, all those good things. And, You know, we're gonna get into the conversation. Let's see what we got in here with us this evening. And like I said, we're gonna talk about honesty or hating. Is there a difference? I want to make sure I'm saying this. VC online 9.8U. What's the motherfucking deal? Dominic Delgado. That man calls the den every night, Dominic. That was you calling the den. It wasn't even that humorous. At least be funny when you do it. DeMarcus, Jaja, what's the motherfucking deal? Good to see you, gentlemen. Oh shit. Forgot to do something. So my thing about this, about honesty, and I'm going to talk about where it originated, and that's why we're going to have this conversation. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Tiffany Haddish, and she had a little bit of a situation last night where she was performing stand-up for a big crowd in Miami. I'm assuming she was the headliner of the event. And so basically she came out and she bombed. Yeah, I was watching actually earlier today. And I was going through all the little endings and things. But she came out and she bombed. I mean, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible. And it got me to thinking, you know, a while back, Cat Williams had a little bit of a tirade because it was a situation that the chick at the radio station that he was at, and she was trying to low-key hate him. Then she started playing the victim after he got on her ass. But he was talking about, you know, Tiffany Haddish, and he was just saying that she's more of a comedic actress and not a comedian necessarily. And, you know, people were acting like he was hating on her. Oh, he's doing this, he mad because she doing this, that, and the third, and, you know, all these things. And honestly, I didn't feel like he said anything that was hating. I felt like he was being, you know, pretty honest about the situation. He didn't seem like he was throwing anything personal out there or anything like that. He was just saying, you know, that people write that. And then she basically acts out, you know, what someone else wrote. And he was just talking about, you know, he didn't feel like she was better than, you know, Monique or, you know, any of those other women who've been doing it for so long. He was talking about, you know, a lot of other comedians out there, female comedians. Like he said, he felt would have been better for the part. Cool beans. And so, like I said, it comes out last night, and she just was terrible. She's on stage drinking and shit. You saw, I don't know if y'all got a shot to see some of the other angles, but it was empty. Like, I'm assuming that it would have been a sold out crowd seeing the, you know, the celebrity status that she's picked up as of recently. But I mean, the shit was empty. People left. It was so bad. She on stage dressed up like she finna sing a fucking For the Pips or some shit. And, you know, and like I say, she's like, oh, he's going to be on TMZ and they going to talk about me and, you know, all that type of stuff. And it was on TMZ and they was talking about it. Nick was capping on her. She was mad because she was trying to cap. Like, you know, she's kind of in that Amy Schumer category where you could tell somebody does the writing for it because they're not naturally funny. Because if you see a real comedian, and I'm not talking about even the best of the best, I've seen some lesser known comedians. This was one I saw. I had posted in the Den group the other day, maybe about a month ago. And yeah, the recorder laughing, that shit was funny. But, you know, there are comedians who can, I mean, they got it. I mean, off the tip of the hat. Like if you start trying to roast or you start trying to heckle, they're going to get in your ass. She didn't have anything. Well, you having a rough night too. And, you know, like it was just, she had nothing. And so that's my thing. That's how you can tell she's not a natural. And most comedians tend to be naturals. You know, they have comfort. They're comfortable on stage. They're able to finesse. You know, they don't get like that. Now, people were going and saying, oh, well, oh my God, I've never seen people, you know, try so hard in their life to hate on a black woman who's doing good. Nobody was hating. They're just simply stating the fact that she's not funny. You know, Cat Williams basically said, name one of her jokes that you know. It's not a sauce tree, but he was saying, name one of the jokes that you know of hers. What's up, Asmel? Good to see you. And he was saying, like, one of her jokes that you know from her stand-up. And, you know, you can't. I don't know anybody who knows a joke from any of her stand-ups. All I've ever heard was she was wearing a cat suit and that she looked good in a cat suit. That's all I heard anybody say. But she's not humorous. And that's just what it is. But you're hating on her because she's a so-called comedian or comedic actress or whatever it is. It's a lot of people you've seen who've done more dramatic roles but have been able to cross over into comedy because somebody writes their lines for them. You've seen people who are known for more dramatic and they go and present awards and things like that. They say stuff that's funny because people write their lines for them, you know, and that's what people don't get. I don't even think people knew what internet podcasts were in my motherfucking YouTube. Well, I'm on YouTube in my fucking when I was in high school. So there's that. But, you know, and the thing is, like, people were just swearing up and down, and mainly black women who were defending her. And, you know, that's fine or whatever. You know, people have a bad night every now and then, and this is true. People occasionally have bad nights. But when you're not known for anything you've ever done, it's going to stand out way more. They try to say, well, you know, Cat Williams, he's done it too. But Cat Williams has probably done thousands and thousands of shows. You know what I'm saying? And excuse me. And so, yeah, if he has one or has a breakdown, that's cool. But when you're a headliner and again, like I said, you just don't have that. You don't have that resume. You don't have that repertoire. You don't have that catalog, if you will. You know, it's going to stand out way more when you have a big show. You showed up an hour late. You come out on stage. You up there drinking and trying to crack jokes. You forgot all your jokes. Like you have, excuse me, you got nothing. That's probably why she was an hour late trying to remember some shit or whatever. Like, you know, it was a terrible look, man. It was a very terrible look. It had to be very embarrassing, stand up there shining and glittering like that and just saying a whole bunch of nothing. Like, again, it was bad. Like, it was bad, and you could tell that she knew it was bad. And, you know, it's unfortunate. Of course, you don't want to see anybody suffer in that situation. But my thing was everybody claiming that everybody who said that she's not funny, that they're just hating. No, maybe you just have a bad sense of comedy. Maybe you're, you know, that whole ghetto shit role it's like over and done with. That shit ain't in no more. Maybe that shit worked in the 90s, early 2000s. That shit was cool. All right, what's the motherfucking deal? Say to Texas, what's the motherfucking deal? And I agree. What's the motherfucking deal, bro? Some people are not funny, man. Dominic, why do you say? I don't know. I worry about you, Dominic. You're gonna have a hard time in life. It's not just saying that you won't be successful, but you probably gonna have to pay for hoes whenever you get older. Like consistently, if you ever go get the action, because you just ain't got the juice, man. You gonna have to definitely work on some of your skills. But again, no, it's true. No, it's quite true. I can tell. I know little niggas like you, from when I was my age. 335, what's good? What's the motherfucking deal? So again, like I say, you know, the thing about it is she's not funny, and it's okay to say that, but it got me thinking, where is the line between honesty and hating? You know, if you're being honest about somebody and you say, if you being honest about something, look, y'all hating on the shirt. You look thing one, this is the sauce, thing sauce. I don't know if that might be a pause. I don't know. Let me think about that. But again, you know, when you sit there and you talk about it, you know, we're not even going to acknowledge that. That's an unacknowledgeable statement. I wonder if that's old buddy who said that stupid shit during the season. That fucking dumb shit. Or it's one of you trolls. Who knows? Who cares? But because I was wondering where that nigga went, because he sure disappeared after fucking Fuller went down. He swore up and down Fuller was it. But that's what I'm trying to figure out. People swear up and down that you're hating. Like if I honestly say, hey, you know what? I sat through an entire stand-up, didn't even chuckle. It wasn't funny. It wasn't this or it wasn't that. You know, am I hating because I'm being honest? Or if it's something I saw and I'm like, man, that shit really wasn't that good to me. I wasn't entertained. Am I hating because I'm being about my honest opinion? Now, if I'm sitting there saying, oh, that person is a piece of shit, that person is a this, that person is a that, you know, come on, man. Real Fool is only a number one because you have to give Hopkins so much attention. Stop the nonsense. This is not soft sports. This is the Den, and that's the last you will get of any recognition of that. But you believe whatever you want to, you know. Not everybody's always right. And so my thing is this, man. And again, it is subjective, but it's messed up, man, because it's like now people can't have an opinion that may not always be positive without being considered a hater. Well, because you don't like what I like, you're a hater. No, it's not the case. You just disagree, man. You just disagree, with what I'm talking about. And there's nothing wrong with that, man. There's absolutely nothing wrong with. No, let me fix this. I still got the mixer thing up from last night. I don't wonder why it was. I need to steal me some pistachios. But yeah, but and I just found it because, like I said, I was kind of on Twitter today earlier, and it was just like, oh, y'all are hating. Y'all just want to tear the black woman down. Y'all just mad because, like, nobody's mad. She's just not entertaining. She's not funny. Man, you don't have a New Year's Eve special. And I want to say it was supposed to be a special. Like I said, I want to believe like it was supposed to be a special that she was supposed to be, recording. Like, comedians, they know when they're doing specials that they're going to record and put out on DVD. And my thing is, if that was supposed to be your special for, DVD or stream or for video or whatever you put it out for, some people still do watch DVDs. And there's places in the country that still don't get that great of internet. And this is supposed to be, for your performance. Like, do you know how much time you wasted for a lot of people in that building? Because, again, you're going to get cameras, you're going to get people recording and doing all that other stuff. They got to make sure they get all the angles. You got to get a production crew and all that shit out there. And you forget your lines or you forget all your jokes or you're nervous or whatever. And again, she always swears that she's a stand-up comedian first. If that's the case, then, there's a problem, man. There's definitely a problem. Man, I appreciate that, Lyric Northside. Like I say, man, just little steps, man. You put these little steps together, eventually they'll be something, man. I appreciate that, man. And Miguel, Darren, let's see, 335, say, I think Eddie Murphy was very comedian, also a very good comedian. Got Chris Vaughan, a good comedian, but not a stand-up comedian. I don't know about Adam Sandler. I've never seen Adam Sandler's stand-ups. And Chris Farley, I've never really seen his stand-ups either. I always thought he was a good comedy guy. But Eddie had the best of both worlds. And not all stand-up comedians are good actors. So, I mean, it is what it is. People have their strengths. Some people have the ability to do both, man. So I think that, you give people credit where their credit is due. But Niecy Nash. I've never seen her stand-ups. I've seen her, Reno 911 and all that. I like her. I used to love Niecy on Reno 911. Niecy would get to business. She fool around, claws and all that other shit. But she seemed like she a little ghetto, but she could still get to business. If I was a single man. Why is it saying it's been live or offline? Oh, because I ain't got the Dilly Dally should be up now. But again, like I say, man, and it's just like, why is it saying that? No, we only been live for about 18 minutes. So, strange, Phoenix, very strange. But my thing is this, man. It's like I say, I don't think that it's hating. Again, like I say, I'm not a fan of old girl. I can hardly remember her fucking name, Tiffany Haddish. Yeah, and I'm not a fan of her. I never have been. Her movie work, like even that movie that just came out. Like I saw the previews for it, and it's like and there was nothing about it that compelled me to want to go see it. The one with her in fucking Night School, with her and Kevin Hart, both in it. There was nothing compelling. I looked, I'm just like, man, this shit don't even look entertaining. And I'm not a Kevin Hart fan, Can't say that I've watched a couple of his stand-ups, but I can't say that there's ever been one that I'm like, wow, Kevin Hart, he's the greatest of our generation. Now, here's my thing with Kevin Hart. I don't knock his hustle. I respect the fuck out of his hustle. Hey, get it how you live. But my thing is, I'm not a fan. And I think that you can be honest about shit like that. Like, hey, I respect that man. I respect his work. I don't like it necessarily, but I respect his grind. You know what I'm saying? King Folker, good to see you. Art of Dialogue, good to see you. Never met a funny woman. There's some funny women out there. There are some funny women. But Mello, what's the motherfucking deal? But I think with women's comedy, women's comedy is different. Because most women's comedy is overly sexual. It has to be, I guess, to get any attention. But again, like I say, that's neither here nor there. I'd have to really think. There's been a couple a couple of them that I've seen. Like, I used to like what's her name? Some more. She had a couple of stand-ups that I liked. I mean, that's way back in the day. Y'all might not know nothing about that. Maybe I just like looking at some more. Some more could have got that business on up. But I like I say, but the majority of women, it's always sexual. It's always like, and again, I don't really listen to. Mainly, I've only seen black female comics. I've seen how horrible Amy Schumer is, and her shit's just terrible. All her shit's stolen. But for the most part, it's always overly sexual shit. And not that I'm saying anything wrong with that, because you listen to rap music, that shit overly sexual and all that other shit. But what I'm saying is, there's a difference between, yeah, man, hey, face down, ass up. You talking about Della Reese? Della Reese was, well, I don't know. I've never seen her do no stand-up or nothing like that, but she definitely was entertaining. Ben Stiller, I like Ben Stiller movies. I've never seen him do any stand-up or anything like that. But, my thing is, like I say, but people were swearing up and down that people were hating on Tiffany because they felt their honest opinion. Like, she doesn't have a good enough resume. Because most people don't know anything. Like, I mean, the people, like I said, I don't even know the stand-up she did. All I know, like I promise, the only thing that I've ever heard about her stand-up was something about a cat suit. That's it. Nobody could ever say that she had funny jokes. Nobody could tell me a joke from the fucking stand-up. Like, nobody could give me anything. You know what I mean? Adele Givens. Lucy was, the show was very entertaining. Lucy was very entertaining in her show. Carol Burnett was entertaining on the show because I think she had like a little kind of sketch type show, and I know she used to be on Mama's Family. See, I don't know nothing about Mama's Family. Mama's Family used to be my shit. Mama's Family was my fucking show. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Ben Stiller had a good run of movies. You're talking about Ben though. Ben Stiller had a couple of movies. Was it Something About Mary? What was those one? The Fokker movies, they were pretty cool. You know about that Mama's Family? That boys don't know about that. What was the fucking son name? Fuck, I can't think of his name. Had the fucking whore ass wife. Forgot the damn son name. You know what I mean? So I got your goddamn suggestions, Phoenix. Yeah, Def Jam, that's what I'm saying. Like, there are a few females that are funny. Like, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, there's no. But the thing about it is more difficult for me to think of some. But again, as far as comedic actresses, yes, much difference. Night at the Museum, never saw it. So my thing is, this, though. With the Tiffany Haddish situation, and I think what happens is that people get like a blind love, a blind loyalty to certain people, or they put people on this pedestal to represent something that isn't really what it is. And like, I think they felt like maybe she was supposed to be the second coming of, I don't even fucking know who, or maybe she was supposed to be the barrier breaker for black women in comedy or something. I have no fucking idea. But to me, again, like I say, the old ghetto act it's played out, man. Like, it really is, and just being like overly, that shit is played out, man. And so if that's what you're going to make a career on, I think it's going to be short lived anyway. But again, she kind of showed me, I feel like this, if you have a New Year's Eve performance, you got all dressed up, you done all that shit, you ran late and all that other stuff, and you don't have any jokes, that tells me about your level of professionalism. Yeah, I'm sure Cat Williams has had, like, because again, that's what I say, everybody referred, everybody got bad nights. Cat Williams, he did it. I'm sure he did. I'm sure that, there's room for him walking off stage. We all know about Cat's issues. But my thing is, ultimately, again, you're talking about a guy who's done so much work, who's probably has more stand-ups on video than she done shows. You know what I mean? And I'm sure she had to start somewhere. She probably had to start up with some little stand-up somewhere and some little, little clubs. But then again, like I said, when it came to the big stage, when they showed that fucking arena, like when it was so bad that so many people left and they just started moving people up into seats to make it look like something. But then when you saw a back angle of that fucking, when I say empty, man, that shit was terrible. But again, that's a level of professionalism that you have a big show. New Year's Eve is a big night for people. It was people talking about, man, I forgot it was in Miami. It was people talking about they came all the way from Ohio and, across the country and all this shit to go and see her. And can you think about all the money that they wasted? Yeah, you might get your ticket refunded, but think about that hotel, that airfare, all this stuff to go be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? To go be disappointed in that performance and waste your New Year's. You got to go find something else to do because it was such a terrible performance, man. And that's unfortunate. I say it's black women love Tiffany Haddish. I don't think black men care for her too much, honestly. Like I really honestly don't think that they do. So let's see what y'all talking about. Well, there's a reason you can't get no shout out, goddamn. You don't know how to act right. Everybody else who act right, they get a shout out. You don't get no shout out because you don't be acting right. But again, like I say, it's unfortunate. But here's the deal. Like I say, we'll open up the the Denline in about 5 minutes. But what I want to ask you guys, what I want to know is, because ultimately it's not about her. It's about honesty and hating. And I want to know, where is the line drawn? Where is it? Where does it stop from being honest to becoming a hater? You know what I'm saying? Where is it from being a hater, or where you no longer hate if you're just being honest? Like, do you have to only talk about the positive? Do you only tread lightly? You can only be so honest. You can't be, and I hate the term brutally honest. Either you're honest or you're not honest. I mean, there's no brutally honest. So do you have to tread lightly on what you say, or do you have to motherfucking me just not say anything at all? Like, are you a hater if you addressed facts? She had a shitty performance. There's no one on earth who could have said that was a good performance last night. When Cat Williams said all that stuff, he was a hater. He never said anything personally bad about her. When he talked about the dirty vagina thing, stuff that she said herself, and he just simply repeated. Or the facts of behind the scenes stuff that he talked about, simply repeated stuff that she had said, things that she had mentioned in her own world, or facts that were already out there. So again, when is it hating? When is it just being honest? And that's what I want to know. And I want to know also, when we open up the line, have you ever had an incident where someone was hating on you? And what is real hating? Is it hating when it becomes personal issues, personal low blows, or more opinionated, more opinion based than fact based? How do you tell the difference? Where do you discern the difference between hating and I'm seeing y'all have y'all back and forth in there. You see, honesty comes from wanting that person to be good and caring and facts about them. Hating comes from emotions with no evidence, like when people describe something as cancerous without reasons why. Give me an example of that, Dominic. What would you say? What is something that people have called cancerous without any legitimate reasoning as to why they identify it as cancerous? And while y'all get that, I need to just pull a jack move real quick. But here's the thing. I don't think all hating is blatant. Sometimes there's what they call dry hate. You know what I'm saying? And so that dry hate is when people low key say some shit, you know what I'm saying? They won't be direct with it, but they low key kind of hating on you, low key throwing some salt in a particular direction or whatever it may be. So I don't think all hating is just blatant in your face. You know what I'm saying? They say when DeAndre is the best receiver in the league and give no reasons. Yeah, they said it's the guy who had the Super Bowl Hall of Fame quarterback all his career, and now he wants out. So there's that. You know what I mean? So again, damn, I couldn't. Of course, I punked the real family, but Dominic got the pistachios on lock. But it's all good. So when is hating a crime? Hating, oh man. Hating is a crime when you tell it on somebody, I guess. If it's some shit that don't involve you, if you didn't get your shit stolen, if nobody affected by you got harmed or hurt, and you just hating on somebody for doing some shit that leads to them going and getting incarcerated, hating is a crime. But I guess they say crime pays, and then I guess Crime Stoppers pays for hating. Let me see. Is there such a thing as a hate crime? I don't think so. I mean, a crime can be motivated by hate, but I don't think that there should be a thing as called such as a hate crime, because that's when you start getting into some sketchy areas. Because here's the deal, like, so if I'm at a bar or out in public and a motherfucker says something to me, right? And we get into a fight and I beat their motherfucking ass. And then it turns out that this motherfucker's gay or something, they throw that on there because now you attacked him. Like say you attacked him or some shit because he's gay. It wouldn't be that. Maybe it could be the things that came out of his mouth. That you can get additional charges because of something like that as opposed to it being anybody. You know what I mean? It's not like but again, I think they have to try to prove that you targeted this person specifically for this or vice versa. You know what I mean? You know, because then you start having those racial interactions that happen. And, you know, people try to say, oh, it was a hate crime because this motherfucker might not like you in particular. Doesn't have to, see. Look. I'm finna get my win right now. I gotta throw that shit into the atmosphere, babe. Look, I've been taking some L's the last couple of them. I need my win tonight. You know what I'm saying? I need my win right now. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and get mine. But again, like I said, I don't buy into that, man. Like, it's either a crime or it's not a crime. All of it. God damn. I'm telling you, man, this nigga, see what happened was my shoestring was on. Jay Dizzle stepped on my shoelace and I tripped and he caught me slipping. That's what it was. But again, like I said, you know, the thing about it is, you know, and I understand that there can be emotions and things attached to it, but it's all good when it works in your favor. But then when the tables get turned on your motherfucking ass and it works against you, then, you know, hey, then that shit ain't so cool. You know what I mean? And that shit can happen very quickly. And especially in this day and age of I'm a ma'am, you know, situations like that. What happened in that situation could be what happened in that situation could be considered a fucking hate crime. That you know, that interaction between the GameStop guy and I'm a ma'am, you know, that could be considered a hate crime by some people. So some people because they were white and the cake image. I don't even know how that your mustachio stash, man. I don't know how that works. I mean, you know, again, like I say, is it a crime on someone who hates? I don't know how that works in the reverse order. Generally, it's to favor, you know, minorities, women, sexual orientation, and what's that other reason? And religion. Man, and I watched that video you sent me there, Jay Dizzle. We're gonna talk about that sometime this week. That was a very interesting. Until you have a smile like a mountain lion ready for the kill. Damn. I ain't never heard that one before. It was just a mistake though, the game. But what I'm saying though is people will consider that. People will consider that a hate, man. People will consider that fucking hate. Again, like, oh, he's oppressing that person, misgendered. These words that have been created as of late that I don't understand, I don't comprehend. And why should we be forced to use them? If you don't feel like that if you don't agree with those things, you know, why do you have to succumb to the oppression? Because that's oppression. I mean, that's vocabulary oppression. You're forcing me to say things I don't want to say. when you say I have to use these pronouns or I have to use these things. You may try to guise it as, oh, well, you're oppressing this person, they're a victim, but no, you're oppressing me because you're forcing me to say some things that I don't believe. You're forcing me to say things that I don't agree with. You know, just because a motherfucker want to identify as Thomas the Tank Engine, you know, doesn't mean this motherfucker got steam coming out their head and they, you know, fucking sliding down the track and all this other shit. Like, they may be sliding down a track, but not that track. And there may be trains, but not like that. But, you know what I mean? It's the crazy thing. Exactly. And, you know, when you just say, you're a black folk who can like a park bench, support a family for no one care. I don't know what that means there, Dominic, but whatever you say. But my thing is I don't feel like you should have to say these things. And I don't think it's rude. I just don't agree. I'm just say you or who or whatever. But I'm not finna start saying, hey, you look like a dude. You look like, man, the motherfucker look like a scruffy beach bum, honestly. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker could have put a shirt on out the lost and found and a purse and shit and talking about some mama man. I'm like, the dude looked and sounded like a whole dude just because you start throwing on women's clothes. So that would be like, you know, so would it be oppression? Say the little outfit Hop had on the other day. Some people figure that looked like a dress. So should I be addressing Hopkins as, hey, ma'am, you got long hair. You got a dress-like item on. You know what I'm saying? You can usually carry man bags and look, you don't want to get down in Gendertown. It's going to be a wrap for you. You stuck in that motherfucker. You're done, son. Because then you're mislabeling people everywhere when you just start saying some shit. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be very upset. Like somebody's going to get upset. So if I call anybody who wears a dress a fucking ma'am or a dress-like item a ma'am, they're going to be upset. It's too much bullshit, man. And I shouldn't have to deal with that. I shouldn't have to deal with that, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't have to deal with that. I'm still, look, he still sent them little slick shots to pancakes. That shit was funny. But here's the deal, man. Like I said, we're going to open up the Denline, all right? And like I said, I want to know what y'all feel about hating. I want to know where does the line from honesty end and hating begin? Have you experienced someone hating on you in your life? If so, how? Again, you know, this is the Den. So if it's some other question or something else you got on your mind that you want to speak on, you know, we're always open to the conversation. God damn, I write too goddamn much. I should have been wrote a fucking novel by now. All right, let's see what we got. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the Den this evening? Oh, hold on, my fault. Actually, I think I'm gonna do this. What's the motherfucking hello? Who we got calling the Den this evening?
Hey, this is Ernest. What's up, bro?
Ernest, what's the motherfucking deal, man? Happy New Year. How you doing this evening? What you want to drop in the Den?
Yeah, man, this what it is, bro. A couple things I want to spill in the Den. First and foremost, in my opinion, it is a difference between hating and honesty.
Okay.
All right, and the deciding factor is really based on your intention. You know, so because if you hating on somebody, obviously you got ill intent. Like you're being selfish. You're being self-centered. And you're trying to knock that person. Even if what you're saying is true, you got bad intention, you know. Now, honesty is coming from a good place. Hey, bro, like, I'm giving you an example. Like, hey, you know, you talking to one of your homeboys, and you say, hey, bro, matter of fact, I've been through this. And you tell your homeboy, hey, she cheating on you, bro, I'm telling you.
Oh.
But he's so caught up in his feelings over this female, guess what? He think you hate it. You don't want to see him happy, you know, and it's like, and then guess what? Come to find out, she was a thought, bro. But he thought I was hating. But I was just trying to be honest and say, bro, I'm looking out. I don't want to see this chick hurt you like that. And in the end, guess what? It is what it is. But I think that's the difference between hating and honesty. And I want to ask you something real quick.
All right.
All right. Why is it in the black community, that we say, okay, if somebody commit a crime, breaking somebody else's house, not your house, and I'm going back to what you said earlier, that we supposed to turn the blind eye to that. You know what I'm saying? Or otherwise, either A, we're hating, or B, we're snitching.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Man, that's a very good question. That's kind of something I've always wondered, because I think, man, we associate with crime and criminal activity too much, and I think that starts from listening to the music and letting some of that permeate you. We glorify, the gangster shit, and all of these things. So I think we identify with the shit too heavily, and we all know somebody. Everybody got that kinfolk or that person, they family. Some people got a whole entire family of criminals or whatever it is. And, people don't want to see them down bad or whatever it is. But honestly, when it comes down to it, we doing more damage to ourselves in those type of situations and promoting that activity and making it seem like it's okay by, like you said, turning a blind eye, than we are helping by not saying anything, because then that behavior continues. That's like if a kid do something bad, they don't get spanked for it or whatever, they're going to continue in that activity until it becomes either a habit or, becomes even more detrimental to themselves, or they get into a situation with somebody else who ain't finna tolerate that shit. And then when that shit goes down or goes completely left in the way that you didn't expect, people talking about, oh, you wrong for that. Oh, you shouldn't have done them like that. They can't help, this, that, or the third. But, well, somebody should have prevented those actions from taking place earlier on, or said, hey, that ain't the way to go. That's just kind of how I see it.
Right. Okay, and I'm glad you elaborated on that, because I agree with you 100%. Like, we all know that, okay, from everything you said, why is that way? But they don't mean that it should be that way, or that the cycle should continue. Because when you think about productive communities, bro, like they not about to let somebody break in their neighbor house without either protecting their property, or B, getting somebody over there to make sure they ain't stealing up out of there. But only in dysfunctional communities does this thought process even have any validity. And I'm being real about it, bro. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to keep your neighborhood safe, honestly, you got to keep the crime down. You got to keep the violence down. You got to keep the drugs down. If you're going to have a safe, productive community, which for some reason, a lot of us, and I think it's due to conditioning, like it's been so dysfunctional your whole life, that's all you know, and you really, that's what I think it is. But I just mentioned it, Honcho, because I know you a dude, you think outside the box, man. Yeah. And unfortunately, not enough of us think outside the box. But that's what I got tonight, Honcho. Appreciate it, man.
Already, Ernest, man. Appreciate the call. Another great call, man.
All right.
Already. And, man, that sounds like, look, that might be a damn topic in itself right there, just speaking on dysfunctional communities, man, and why do we glorify this behavior? And like he said, because I think about certain things, and I understand, I agree with him. It's a lot of his conditioning, it's been this way for so long. And if you don't have anybody to show you a little bit different and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, that way may be working for you, but you come with all those problems in what you're doing. But here's another way, sometimes you have to see something different. Sometimes people are visual. They got to see it, or they got to have a little experience or whatever. But we're gonna continue on that one. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
This is Professor Dizzle. What's up, Honcho?
Professor Dizzle, what's the motherfucking deal? Happy New Year. What you want to drop in the den this evening, man?
Well, I guess I got to remind you and fucking Ernest of why you don't snitch.
Okay.
Okay. Really understand what he was talking about on the small scale. But where the no snitching shit started at was it really depends on who you snitching on. If you snitching on the neighborhood gang leader, if you snitch on him and he get locked up, that gang know where not only where you live, but where your people live at. So it's not just about you; it's about the people that you left that's behind you that can get hurt or whatever because of what you may say in court. That's where the whole no snitching shit came from. If you got the neighborhood drug kingpin, you can't snitch on that nigga either, because he basically controls what's going on in the hood. So your family's safety, and a lot of times it's kids too, depend on you not seeing what you actually seeing, not hearing what you actually hearing, and not remembering what actually happened. So you can't sit up here and act like you don't know where the no snitching shit came in. Now the small town niggas breaking into houses and shit, I get that. I get where you're coming from, but the other part just was on family preservation, bro. That was it. That's what the whole no snitching shit came from. Okay. And on this other shit that you said, that there's no such thing as brutal honesty. You're wrong, Honcho.
What?
Because I'm that nigga. I know for a fact I'm brutally honest. And here's the difference. The difference between being honest with somebody and being brutally honest is just the degree in which, in the way you say something. You may tell the girls, well, I don't understand why this guy don't like me or nothing. He say, well, you know, maybe you're just not his type. You know what I'm saying? He may have a different type. Well, I would say, I mean, come on, bitch. We all know you done sucked every nigga dick in the fucking school. He ain't trying to fuck with you. You a thought hoe. Like, that's the difference between honest and being brutally honest. Brutally honest is when you just give him the pure, unadulterated truth. Okay. Instead of just trying to just, you know, smooth it over. You're trying to just coax them into a way of where you won't hurt their feelings. Brutally honest is where you don't even, feelings be damned. You're going to hear the truth, you're going to have to deal with that shit. The same thing I was talking about yesterday. People need to deal with certain harsh truths about themselves. Sometimes that they don't even want to believe, or sometimes they don't even know themselves. You can see it in them, but they can't see it because they looking from the inside out, not the outside in.
Okay. All right. Well, here's my deal on the drug kingpin, though. Okay. Here's my thoughts. So let me make sure I word this right. But do you feel like that's, even though we know that, you know, family can be put in harm's way and all that other shit, that's still a justifiable situation? You know, if a person wants to have a better neighborhood and all these other things, you know, and there are repercussions that come with every action. But is that justifiable?
Absolutely.
You think so?
It's not, no, but it's an unfortunate reality.
Okay.
You got to consider where you live at. You know you was in the hood this whole time. You knew that when you brought up and reared kids in the neighborhood. You knew the risk and what the shit that they would be subjected to. So you can't sit up here and complain about it. Is when you basically put yourself in a situation. Now, you might not have had a chance to move out or move away or raise your kids somewhere else or somewhere better because of some maybe unfortunate or unforeseen circumstances. But at the same time, it's the reality of shit. You knew the neighborhood was bad, but you still let the nigga bust in you anyway, and now you got a kid out there living in the same shit that you living in. So you got to think about shit like that. You can't sit up here and just try to wash away all that shit like you don't see it when it's right there in your face every day.
Okay. I just want to know your opinion on that one, man. Well, like I say, I agree to an extent, and I can understand that that definition of brutally honest. You know, I feel like I thought you just supposed to, you know, let them know either way, but I can definitely see the degree in which you say it. So I feel you on that one, Professor Dizzle.
It's the same thing between me and Ray Ray's call yesterday, because he said in one part, well, you can't be subjective about stuff. You can't be a little bitch about shit. I said, I'm getting tired of you soft ass niggas. Well, you being a little bitch and being a soft ass motherfucker is the same thing. It's just that my words were more sharp than what his words were. And you peeped it, but Ray didn't. That's why he called back and basically reiterated the same thing I had just stated. And you came on right after he hung up and said, well, basically, y'all saying the same thing. It's just a little bit of a twist to it. Yeah. And some people don't understand that. They think that what it is that you're trying to be mean. But sometimes you need to shock that person for them to actually feel what it is you're trying to say.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that.
They don't get it if you just try to sugarcoat it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay. And I agree with you on that.
I'm let somebody else call.
Alrighty, man. Appreciate the call as always, Jay Dizzle.
All right.
Alrighty. And like I said, I do agree with what he said, man. It does, you know, sometimes, like I say, you do have to give people that wake-up call, because when you are hand-fed all the time, you know what I mean, you don't get out of that comfort zone. And sometimes that's what that shock does when you give it to a motherfucker raw. And they feel like that the impact of it knocks you out that comfort zone. And it does make you think. And like I say, shit, I had some kinfolk back when I was younger have some conversations with me. You know, older folks. I always hung around generally older people, man, because older people always had the game. Like, that's why I say this new generation so ass backwards and y'all don't know shit, because y'all so quick to listen to niggas who got just as little experience as y'all who don't know shit about life, but y'all swear these motherfuckers preaching some gospel or some shit, and they don't know shit just like you don't know shit. You gotta get it from the old head sometime, as y'all used to say. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling on the den this evening?
Hey, it's your boy Josh again, man.
Josh, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What you want to drop in the den this evening?
All right, man. About the honest hating thing, I believe that if someone's hating, then you can pretty much tell by they're saying it and in the winter time they're saying it, and that's why it's good for me to have discernment and have like context clues on where people is coming from, and that's what I'm working on. Sometimes, you know, some people give me advice. I always take it as it's like, okay, the person is trying to help me, even vice versa when I'm trying to give advice to others, because there was a time that I was like trying to give advice to like one of my friends, and like he got offended by it and found out he didn't talk to me for like a little bit, and then I told him what it was, and we was cool after that. So apparently, that was what I learned last year going into this year. It's just like I have to learn what people could take, what people can handle, because some people are more emotional than others. Some people can take certain stuff. Some people can't take certain stuff. So, yeah, that's one of the things that I know from just with people. Like, everybody's not the same. Everybody's going to react to things differently than others. So, that's what I'm saying on that.
Okay. All right, man. Appreciate the call, Josh.
All right.
Already. And man, I can agree, man. Some people can't, and I think that's the thing too, though, and that's where sometimes your honesty can be misconstrued as hating, because like I say you do come out with a motherfucker, you brutally honest, and they've been so used to the you know, the hand feeding all their life, and then you be the one that give them that reality. They don't know how to comprehend it, and they gonna go with the majority of the motherfuckers who've been telling them this, that, and the third, and they'll be the ones saying, "Oh, you was hating," you know, because everybody else, you know, may be like, say, like you mentioned, the homegirl sucking everybody dick or whatever, and you know, everybody else, oh, you know, it ain't no thing, it's just, you know, it's this and it's that, and then when somebody tell them, hey, your actions are wrong, and don't nobody want that on their resume, they've never been told that. And so they figure everybody else who's been telling them it's okay is right, and then you'd be the one that's wrong, and they'll try to make it seem like you're the hater. But the thing is, I think inside you have to know, and just like Ernest was saying too, it's about where you're coming from with it. You know, if you're coming from a place of, you know, trying to help as opposed to a place of selfishness, then that's ultimately what matters. So, you know, when you're the person who's, you know, speaking what you're speaking, if you're hating or not, you know, you can justify it to other people as that you're not hating, but deep down inside, it ultimately comes to you and the decision that you're making, man. So I think that definitely you have to look at it for yourself. But if you know you're coming from a place of good and a person can't deal with it, then shit, ain't shit you can do about that, man. Like, if you know that you did what you were doing. So, you know, there's that. So yeah, I'm talking about. Just call it fat is brutal. Yeah, that fat, they'll call you a hate crime for that. It's big and beautiful, man. There was a thing, and it's fucked up, man. Fuck. Well, I don't know the lady's name, but it was one of those chicks. One of the that she was pushing the BBW movement or whatever, and they put out like a fake article that she had died. But man, the fucked up part about it was almost seemed realistic. You know, and it's bad that when, you know, because of your actions that people will believe these fake things that people put out about you. It's almost unfortunate, but that's what I say, you know, it's about how you carry and represent yourself. And some of the things that she was on were just not what's shaking. Okay, that's probably what that is. But again, man, like I say, some good calls. But man, it was like I say, I want to kind of get back on that topic between that we were talking about when even that Ernest asked about the no snitching, and then kind of Jay Dizzle's comments on that one too. And yeah, it is an unfortunate reality. And that's why I say we probably gonna have to dedicate a whole day to this, because we need to resolve these issues. You know, is the only solution to move out of the hood and, you know, leave those particular kinds of people there? You know, because then is that the only option that you have? Or why can't you try to make the hood a better place? Do you reach more people by saying, hey, you know what? Because this is an argument I saw about something else. They were talking about, oh, it's no good men in the hood, this, and this. Because when a good man does well for himself, generally, what the fuck does he do? That motherfucker bounces out. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get the motherfucker out of there. You know, he's like, shit, I'm doing well for myself. I'm not going to be around all these niggas that don't want shit for themselves, that will be breaking into my shit and fucking shit up, man. So why wouldn't I, catch out? Why wouldn't I move out? And so that leaves less role models. I speak four languages: English, profanity, sarcasm, and real shit already. But what I'm saying is that, when they talk about, and that's the complaint. Oh, ain't no good niggas in the hood, this, and this. Or, I've heard black women say that shit too. But whose fault is that? Is it the black man who says, man, I'm doing good for myself, I'm not finna stay here so they can rob my house while I go to work, or they can take all the nice shit that I done worked hard for, or I got to deal with all these hard heads when I can, be in a better location, have maybe a better selection or more variety of a selection of women instead of a bunch of, motherfuckers who overly weaved up and want to do a bunch of ghetto ass shit and, stay ghetto or have 4 or 5 kids from 6 or 7 different niggas. Y'all do the math. And they don't want to deal with that, so they move on. But again, then that leaves that lack of mentorship in the hood. You know what I mean? And so what can be done to resolve that? I think, like I said, I don't know if it's a conversation for today, but I think we may talk about something like that tomorrow. What can be done to fix those situations where, the people are left in certain situations, like where, like I say, motherfuckers is left in the hood, the positive role model. Because like I say, when you have no men like that in the neighborhood and you just see, like I say, the dope boys, the drug dealers, or whoever and whatever, that's what the little niggas gonna look up to, because they do certain shit their mama can't teach them. So they gonna look up to these other men, and then they gonna start, you know what I'm saying? They gonna start going for that shit. Say being honest isn't hating. It takes love to be honest with someone. And I can agree with that. Definitely agree with that. And as I say, kind of relate to what Ernest had called in and spoke on earlier. If you coming from a place of goodness, you coming from a place of love, and because you want that person to do better, and you telling them this because you want to see them do better, then that's honesty. But if it's malicious intent with no real value in what you're saying, it's not even meant to serve them in a positive way, it's just selfish because you just want to say some shit, then that's definitely hating. I definitely agree with that. You can take the people out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of people. Look at Mike Vick. Here's the thing with that, man. Here's the thing with that. Education is key. And why I say that, because you have to be educated on certain ways and how to live better. Yeah, you can go to school, but when you go to school as an athlete, man, they usually putting you, depending on who you are and depending on your skill level, they just putting you through to put you through so you can play for the program, and they're not giving you classes that are educating you, benefiting you for life. You see the difference in the guys who go to school, play for a year or two, then go hit the league, as opposed to guys who go to school, stay, get their degree, or maybe graduate early, and then, go on and play for the league. Like, I didn't know Deshaun got his fucking degree early and, left before he left. You see a difference in those guys. Fucking Luck he's not from the hood or no shit, so he ain't count him. But, motherfuckers go to school and they get their shit done early. They have a degree by the time they hit the fucking league, or, some of them make it a priority to go back, in the off season, they go to school and shit like that. And so they benefit themselves. You see, they fare better off in the league as opposed to others. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in the den this evening? Oh shit, hold on. I got the volume down. My fault. I had the volume down. Who we got calling in? Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. For some reason, this shit. It's sounding crazy. Okay. Let me see. They can hear you now. Okay. You say it's Ernest? Hey, what's going on with the audio here? Hold on 1 second. I don't know why I done jankified. Right. Okay, there we go. All right, cool. We good.
Yeah. All right, you can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. I want to add a couple things to the conversation that you just added. First, I'm going to point out a little known fact. Back in the days, bro, the Black Panthers had pretty much went to war with the drug dealers in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Because they obviously they didn't want drugs in the neighborhood. Well, the feds decided to arrest the Black Panthers and leave the pimps and the drug dealers on the streets.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't know this. So people have emerged to combat the drug dealers and all that. But unfortunately, the circumstance was bigger than the Black Panthers, and they wanted the drugs and the gangs and the dysfunctionality there, and they will remove any and everybody who tried to prevent it from happening. So that's fact, bro. You know, you can check, you know, it's fact. But anyway, on the aspect, it was something you touched on after that, bro.
Talking about the role models?
What was the question?
When I was speaking on, you know,
the
what
role model.
Role model.
Yeah, you say, what can we do, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to tell you this, Honcho. Behind every good man is a good woman. I believe that.
Yeah.
I'm a living example of that, bruh. And at the end of the day, man, you know, you can, you know, have love for your neighborhood, but at the end of the day, bro, sometimes you can outgrow your neighborhood. And what I mean by that, it's a lot of dudes I grew up with, man, that it's kind of like you say, bro, I don't fool with them no more. Why? Because they on the same stuff, bro. They haven't matured. They haven't, you know, done whatever. And don't get me wrong, when I come across them, I holler at them, what's up, blah, blah, blah. But we just on two different paths. So what I done personally, bro, I realized you can't save everybody, bro. I had to learn that the hard way. I used to go back in the hood, Honcho. I'm talking about holler at people I don't even know, just trying to give them game. But guess what, man? It didn't work, bro. And the bottom line is this. This is what I had to learn, man. Everybody won't help, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's a bitter pill to swallow, man, because you looking at our condition, at our living conditions and all that. I mean, you got the poor, the poorest school systems in the district. You got you probably got the poorest water in the city. You got chemical plants all around. But who? What I'm asking you, bro, and this is rhetorical. Who in the hood had these type of conversations on an everyday basis? Nobody, bro. You know what I'm saying? So when you finally wake up and realize that, hey, bro, it's an important thing we need to be chiming up on. Well, guess what, man? They trying to knock down the mall, trying to knock down this little female over here. So the priorities become different. And you're on a collision course because you realize, bro, most people just don't care, bro, about things like that. And I'm just calling a spade a spade. But some of the things we can do, those of us who come to a certain level of realization, look at for your immediate family, bro. Look, especially the kids, man. If you got kids, bro, you need to make sure that you in their life, that you teaching them, giving them game, and the most important thing, spend time with them, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. You can buy all the gifts in the world, Honcho. Ain't nothing like spending time with your kids and just putting them up on game about situations. So, in the neighborhood, how they feel, man. You know, and be loyal to your women, man. You know what I'm saying? Because in a lot of stuff in poor neighborhoods is having a solid family structure, man. You know what I'm saying? Where you got a man, a woman, in unison. The kids can't see you fighting. The kids can't see you yelling at each other and want to slap each other and beat each other up, because that's dysfunctional, man. You know, so we as the adults, we have to be the living example for the next generation through and through, bruh. And if we as individuals, male and female adults, can make that commitment to ourselves that I ain't responsible for what these other dudes do, but I promise you, I'm going to provide for my family, I'm going to protect my family, and I'm going to set the best example that I can set for my son and for my daughter. That I can control. That is what I'm going to do. And if more of us did that, I believe you'll see a big change, bro. That's what I got, though. Appreciate it, Honcho.
Already, Ernest, man. Appreciate the call, man.
All right.
Already. Man, I agree. And I think that, you know, like they say in certain areas of economics, the trickle-down effect, I think that may be the case. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
It's J-Mail, bro.
J-Mail, what's the
I just
motherfucking
wanted to
deal?
add to what Ernest. Shit, what's the deal, Honcho?
Cool.
I just wanted to add to what Ernest was saying about, you know, the hood, aka the ghetto. It's funny exactly how it was designed to, and that's what we got to realize, that this set up for us to fail. It's meant to be this way. The ghetto was an experiment run by Nazi Germany. So at the end of the day, they put the maximum amount of people in the smallest space and gave them the minimum amount of resources, and it became a dog-eat-dog society in that area. And that's the same thing black people dealing with today in America. But at the end of the day, it ain't going to change, because it's a systematic thing that's set up, and that goes way beyond us.
Okay. So so you say the solution is to take care of yourself and get out? I mean, what do you like? Kind of like Ernest said, you got to take care of your own, or what do you think the solution is to escape a situation like that?
Well, I think ideally, what black people should do is start putting their money together, and instead of living Section 8, renting to own, or just renting and never owning, actually buy real estate, actually build neighborhoods, actually build a community with each other, and not a hood, a neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? A community. And that's really the main way to get everything started. And then from there, you branch out and you build your schools, you build your own banks, and you bring your own resources in, because they're not gonna give us the resources. We got to get them ourselves. But the thing is, we're wasting our money on dumb shit like jade and weave and everything else. Black people spend the most money every year in America, but we ain't got nothing to show for it.
Okay.
But that ain't by accident either. They got all kind of stuff that goes back in history, you know, where they redlined us. Black people wasn't allowed to buy homes in certain areas, you know. So it goes back. So it's a uphill battle. But you know, like he said, you got like Ernest said, the main thing, you got to educate yourself and find out these facts to figure out where to go from there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Man, that's a bet, man. I appreciate the calls, man. Some good shit, man. Good shit.
Appreciate it, bro. Keep doing your thing.
Already, man. Appreciate that. Man, that was a good call, man. And I like the, basically the reference to the Nazi ghettos, and it is what it is. And when you put it in that perspective, again, maximum amount of people, minimum amount of resources. You gonna fight, claw, scratch, eat. No matter if a motherfucker look like you or not. You're gonna do what you got to do. And you have people in that mix who want to do well, who want to be okay. But you know, that's just not an ideal situation to be in. And like I said, I agree with what he said. You know, you got to start putting the money together. Because I mean, think about that. I talk about weave all the time, man. And you know, we were having that conversation the other day, and some folks would get a little upset. Oh, you know, it's okay. You can wear your hair however you want to. Ideally, yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. You can walk around with your head halfway shaved off, with fucking blue ponytails and green highlights and whatever the fuck you want to do. But my problem with the shit is, when it's an overwhelming majority, when motherfuckers treat that shit like dope, when niggas is getting robbed or stores are getting robbed, I'm not even talking about just the Asian stores, you know, when a black person does even try to get their shit together and open up a fucking weave store, they get their money right because they know it's money. And what's the first thing that happened? Niggas complain about, all the Asians, they got all the stores, and then they go in and they rob the motherfucking black people who get the store. So it's just like, again, it's not about the growth, man. And so I agree with him. Like, you have to start building your own communities, not communities they were planned for you to be put in, and then you can establish your own rules and regulations for those situations. And then once you start getting your money right, I think another thing that black people got to do that we don't talk about enough is, it's a fucked up game, but you got to play the politics game. We don't play well with politics. We don't do the politics very well because, one, we don't understand. I'm not finna sit here and act like I know the fucking remedy. But when it comes to politicians, that's what people who want to get shit done. They want to get buildings built. They want to get shit, earmarked and all that other shit for what they want. They play well with the politicians, man. They play fucking very well with the politicians. And fucking, we don't do that. We just automatically expect that the politicians are gonna do what we want. Black people loved Obama. Change that first go round. Change, and it's gonna come in. Shit, how much change did you send to Obama? We know who sent the money because we know who got the rules and regulations to benefit them. Again, Obama's not he didn't do nothing for black folks. You know what I mean? You could ask how many people voted for him. Cool, yeah, he appreciate your vote, but how much money you put in his pocket? You say, what I want to do is open it. Yeah, and I agree with you. But the fucked up thing about it is when they do, what happens? The motherfuckers going there robbing and taking from their own. They do them worse than the damn with the age. They still stealing. They, it's a fucked up situation. But the thing about weave is, where's the weave coming from? It's coming from, Asia, India, places like that. So ultimately, at the source, we not eating off that. We may take a little cut off the top from selling it to our own and all that other stuff. And that's why I say, man, you got to be appreciative of what grows out your head and find, like I say, but now natural's becoming a trend too. And so some of these other people are getting into the natural business too and eating off of that. But like I said, I know people say, oh, it's too much to deal with. It's too much work to deal with that. But shit, how much that what you really want to change? What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in to the den this evening?
Hey, Honcho, this is Ernest. Yeah, I want to drop a little something real quick about what you're talking about.
Already.
All right, bro. This is what it is, bro. We spend too much time glorifying our downfall. Mm-hmm. Now, what do I mean by that? We glorify the hood. What hood you from? Yeah. Like, what all this stuff. But think about it, bro. What does it really mean? Or, what does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? What hood you from, bro? Because, and I don't get me wrong, I get the thought process, but I don't. The older I got, the more I thought about it. Really don't make much sense. But we glorify stuff like that. We glorify, hey man, I'm about to get this bag, bro. Meaning, hey man, whether you selling dope, some people jack to get it, But we glorify. You know what I'm saying? Knocking all these females down, treating them like they nothing, bro. Rather than trying to build them up psychologically and emotionally. So the reason I say this, Honcho, when I realized that this is what we glorify too much of the wrong stuff, you know what I'm saying? I start horrifying it, bro, to my kids. So when we talk about materialism, I let them know straight. The most valuable things in life, money can't buy. So you can miss me with all that materialistic stuff. Like I told my son the other day, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have nobody to enjoy it with, what does all that money mean? Mm-hmm. You're just gonna be a rich, lonely individual, man. Because everybody gonna be using. Ain't nothing from the mud, bro. Somebody you know, man. You know what? Been with me when I ain't had nothing. Now I got it. We gonna enjoy it together. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So my point in mission is, Honcho, we gotta stop glorifying our downfall in so many different ways. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I had to learn to do. That's something I start doing. So if I hear one of these rappers talking about something that on the line with my adult value, then guess what? I tune it out. Yeah. And pretty much, bro, we got to be careful of the energy we take in. Yeah. Because 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the energy you put out. And the last thing I'm going to say on this, bro, I can't be a hypocrite. I try not to be a hypocrite. Meaning I can't tell my daughter to respect herself, but in the background, I got Cardi B and Lil Kim bumping, and she like, dang, daddy, you tell me, you know what I'm saying, carry myself this way, but you got me listening to all this stuff that contradicts everything you say. So I just try to make sure I walk what I talk, man. But that's what I got, Honcho. Appreciate it, man.
Already, Ernest, man, he on one with that one, man. Man, I appreciate the call. But what he said, that last point especially, man. And that's when I know it's tough because we like the shit. It's catchy. It be jamming and all that shit sound good. But if you got offspring, if you got somebody that you looking out for, you trying to teach, you trying to show how, the way that this world works, and then you can perpetually putting that energy out there, how they going, well, you telling me this, but you been bobbing your head, you jamming this and bumping this shit, it's something that they have minds too. And they gonna put 2 and 2 together. Something ain't right. This stuff gets your attention. It makes you smile and jam or whatever it is. And why? What's wrong with that, man? So Man, I absolutely agree with that, man. Absolutely. And then he said what he said about, glorifying our downfall. And that's the biggest thing. And don't get me wrong. That's why I say, man, I've cut out a lot of shit. It is tough because especially when that's all you listen to. Like I tell you, when I talk about, man, I don't listen to rap music. And like I tell you, UGK, probably one of my favorite groups of all time. Thinking about a lot of shit, a lot of Southside shit, from the city. I've been a lot of time. I mean, from Pokey to Kiki, you know what I'm saying? I listened to a little bit of, Paul and them too, but they, it is what it is. That was more Swish House. I wasn't super big on, but I listened to a little bit, but a lot of shit from the city. And, motherfuckers are only talking about swingers and cars and shit like that. Well, ain't nobody talking about let's go invest in some property. Let's go start some businesses up. You got a platform, you got a message, you know what I'm saying? If you use that platform to spread knowledge and positivity because they out there doing it, but they not necessarily telling you to go do it. They gonna use you to, but then the thing about it, and what Ernest said earlier that I got to go back to is when he said that everybody don't want to be saved. And think about it, because I think we had a conversation the other day and he was talking about, why ain't nobody jamming Lupe? Why ain't nobody, these motherfuckers dropping knowledge? These motherfuckers talking real shit. They spread positivity, really good message. It ain't a bunch of bullshit. But they not selling because people don't want to hear positive. People don't want to hear good shit. They want to wallow in the bullshit they already in and feel validated for being in that situation. Instead of somebody telling them, hey man, you fucking up, instead of getting the J Dizzle brutal honesty. And I agree with you on that. And that's that I agree with you on that because nowadays they don't tell you that shit. And I agree with you on the UGK. They will tell you, that shit is, they're gonna give you the good and the bad. One Day is probably in my top 3 favorite motherfucking songs, man. I listen to that bitch from time to time when I gotta just recalibrate. But it's just like, but I think about some of the other stuff. If we want to talk about doing better with the web and all of that stuff, talking about let me see it. Hey, there's certain other little songs, hey, it may not be just the best idea, especially if you're raising a daughter or something like that. There's certain shit you're gonna have to be like, man, let me see that homework. That's what I need to see. But shit like that. But ultimately, and I'm not saying kill it, but you got to be aware of your surroundings too, because again, like Jesus mentioned last night about not forgetting where you came from. Sometimes the time, some of that is nostalgia. Sometimes it may, you back old memories. You may remind you of certain times and shit like that. But you gotta really realize, again, who else is listening to what you listening to? Who else is around you? What are they getting from it? You know what I mean? Because like I say, it's just you just don't know, man. You don't know. They may be in their own heads thinking this mean that and that mean this, or thinking this is cool. Well, Pop's listening to it, or Mom is listening to it. And that's what I'm saying, man. Look, don't get me started on Murder. Murder might have been the greatest verse of all time. That Bun Murder verse was, I don't care what you say. You'd be hard pressed. Wayne dropped a lot of hot shit. A lot of niggas dropped a bunch of hot shit. But I don't think you can't tell me nobody that dropped a better verse than that Bun Murder verse, man. You gonna look, we gonna have some. We might end up in an altercation having that kind of conversation because it ain't too many. I don't care about no Biggie. I don't care about no Pac. You gonna really have to come with it, man. Like, I don't know, bro. But again, good conversation. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get ready to wind it down here. Kind of short a little bit, but we're gonna continue this conversation. I think we're gonna carry on some of this conversation tomorrow because there was some fire tonight, and there's a couple of things I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna want to get some details on. We'll take this last call. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
It's Edmund.
Edmund, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What would you like to drop in the den tonight?
So I had a question.
Okay, what you got?
Would you say it's morally correct if, let's say, someone in the hood wants to aspire to be a scientist or a doctor or a lawyer, and then someone in the hood tells them, "Man, what are you trying to do?" Like they're basically saying, you can't do that. They're hating on him because that's not what they represent. Like, you think that's hating, or is that being honest? Like, what would you say? What would you categorize that in?
I would consider it hating, because if anybody tells somebody not to pursue after their dreams. And again, there's levels to the shit. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to the shit, and you gotta understand, what it may be. Again, if a dude he failing all his motherfucking classes and he barely getting by, and then he talking about, man, I'm gonna be a lawyer, or you got to be kind of realistic with him. But I mean, if it's somebody and they're showing the signs, and somebody, oh nah, man, you can't be that, then it's hating, because you got to understand when in the hood and in low income environments that it's an environment of lack. And when people don't have, it's a lot of people that don't want you to have. You'll be surprised how many motherfuckers in the hood, they own families. I mean, and like Ernest mentioned about taking care of your immediate family. Sometimes it's immediate families in the hood that don't want to see you make it. I know motherfuckers who've been the only person to come up out of their situation. And, the odds were against them, but they did it. And they'll tell you, you can't be this, you can't be that. But they, what they end up having to do is getting away from the nonsense, getting out, going somewhere different. And, it's unfortunate, but sometimes you got to get away from that shit. Sometimes you may have to isolate yourself. But if someone's telling you that you can't be, but you have the potential to, I would consider that hating, and not, I wouldn't say immoral or, unreal or anything. Just if you have the ability to do so, I mean, it's up to you to believe that shit. You're going to have to be the one that has to, go through the work. But if you listen to other people because they can't do it, the majority of people can't, they'll tell you that you can't simply because they can't. And they will, and sometimes people will, they'll put themselves in your shoes, and maybe school was hard for them, or maybe it was a difficult task for them. So what they'll try to do is they think that they're helping you by saying, oh, don't do this or don't do that. But in reality, they don't know what you built like. They don't know that you built for it. And, maybe they think that they're helping, or sometimes you do have people who don't want to see you be successful because they enjoy being around you. And what they're thinking of is, oh man, this motherfucker ain't gonna be around no more. They're gonna leave me behind, or whatever it is. It's from a selfish perspective, not that they necessarily want harm for you or don't want you to be great, but it's a selfish motive that keeps them from wanting to inspire you and help you strive for better, So I think there's a few different angles that you could look at that from, but I think it's just, I don't think it's a thing to do. I don't think, like I say, you need to listen to people like that,
So you wouldn't say that, let's say, the person that's telling them you can't do that, don't you think they're trying to be realistic? Maybe they're trying to set a realistic expectation for them instead of having them, face reality and, have their dreams crushed.
I mean, like I say, now if it's a motherfucker talking about, hey man, I'm going to the NFL and I'm going to the NBA and I'm gonna be a star, and then these motherfuckers don't even practice after school or such shit like that, and they just got these hoop dreams. That's different. But when you're talking about, what the hell you got going on over there? When you talking about a doctor, a lawyer, a scientist, all you got to do is put your nose to the books and grind and go to college and get the right instruction, the right lesson. That's not a far-fetched thing. If you put yourself to the right learning process, you can achieve that. The odds are against you when it comes to the NBA, the NFL and shit like that. That's people picking and choosing if they think you have the skills. The likelihood of that is much smaller. Now you can develop, you can have all the talent in the world, but it could be a lot of things that could work against you. But if you talk about a realistic career, you can do that. Motherfuckers do it all the time. That's not the stories that get told because they don't want to inspire too many motherfuckers, but that's not the stories that get told because they want to hear. But again, like I say, it's those people putting themselves in your position, and they think it may be too hard. They think because they couldn't do it, that it's not going to work for you too. But again, if you really want it bad enough, it's a lot of people, there's motherfuckers who done had kids, multiple kids, and then, did what they had to do. It's been motherfuckers who done, had injuries and had, just life crushing situations, and they may have fell off for a second and got back. But if you got a dream, man, I don't agree with anybody saying now that you can't do it. If it's something that you really about and you really passionate about, I don't think that's being realistic and trying to help anybody. You may let them do what they got to do. If they really in that direction, you let them trend, you let them do what they got to do, and if they fail, then that's a life lesson. But I don't think it's being realistic.
All right. Just one last question.
All right.
I know Jay Dizzle is an advocate of being brutally honest, but do you think being brutally honest can lead to possibly suicide or, you know, something like someone else committing a crime, like shooting up a school or something? Do you think that has some sort of correlation?
You went real far left, I think, on that last part, but I think that it can have negative consequences in certain aspects depending on the character of the person who's receiving the honesty. Sometimes people don't want to hear that shit, and then you got people, again, because what I tell you about habitual criminals, people who are basically criminals their whole life, they blame always an external for, oh, it's the you know, this set me up or that set me up. It's not the fact that I continue to act in behaviors that's going to get me arrested, or I continue to act in behaviors that's going to get me set up or for some type of trouble. It's everybody else's fault, man. If that cop wouldn't have saw me, or if this wouldn't have happened, or what if you just wouldn't have done what you did? You know, you wouldn't have those situations. But the thing is, like I say, it's about, can that person handle it? And some people can't handle it. And most of the time, the worst or the most negative thing you're going to get is just that person don't want to hear that shit, so they're going to stop talking to you. But as far as going to those extremes, it depends on how, you know, how honest and what kind of shit they've been up to. Yeah, maybe they may decide to clock out. But the other thing, I don't think so much. I think that the school situation, that's just more of a personal deal. They come to those conclusions on their own. And often themselves. I mean, it could happen, but I think that's a very low percentage outcome, man. So, you know, there's that.
Yeah, because I said that because, you know, I read a story about Nicholas Cruz, who said that one of the reasons why he was so isolated was because people would tell him that he couldn't, you know, be a part of this group, or he couldn't be like, you know, like the rest of them, because he had, like, you know, he has a weird look, I guess.
Nicholas Cruz.
For them to,
that was
like, for them to be brutally honest, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of changed him into this monster. But it's kind of like, I don't know if that correlates to, but I mean, again, to what he did, but
then that's not accepted responsibility. And that goes to what I was talking about with the criminal minded people who blame others because, okay, hey, well, you know, you don't necessarily fit in with what we do. Maybe you're a little weird. Maybe your behavior is a little strange. Maybe it takes some self-analysis, some auditing of oneself and looking, okay, well, you know, I do this. This is kind of strange. You know, that group doesn't seem to, you know, favor these certain characteristics that I do possess. Maybe I need to either go find some more like-minded friends instead of forcing myself in a place where I don't really belong, or people who don't really accept me. Maybe I need to go find a place where I'm accepted for who I am. And that's the problem. People want to, and that's what you have, especially with a lot of followers. You know, they want to be a part of the cool kids or whatever. Maybe you're just not cool, man. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're your own person. Maybe you're not what people think is cool. Nowadays, what people think is cool would have got motherfuckers beat up back in my day. You know what I'm saying? So, like, cool is subjective. And so you could go, if you love Pokemon and Magic cards or some shit, you know, hey, go find the kids who enjoy that shit and be cool with them, and, like, stop giving a fuck about what other motherfucking people think. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, you know? It's just like, I mean, it's a strange thing. And I can't use that. I can't justify, you know, motherfuckers telling them, hey, you can't sit here. That, you know, that's a good enough reason to go wipe everybody out. Maybe you need to fix yourself, man. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But that's on him, man. That ain't on nobody else. That's just him being upset and not being able to handle honesty, you know? So you can't blame anybody for that, for trying to be real with him.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, bet.
All right, appreciate the call in, man. All right. So, here is the dilly. We gonna, well, we got one more. Hold on, we got one more covered in. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
This is Jay Dizzle once again.
What you got, Jay Dizzle? What you want to drop at the Denline, man?
Let me give you a lesson in brutal honesty, Ed, man. See what Honcho just said? Well, you know, maybe he should have. No, the dude that killed himself, I don't give a fuck if he dead, and I can kill that. He was a soft ass motherfucker. That's what his problem was. That right there is called brutal honesty. Them people that want to fuck with him, well, he should have been like, well, fuck y'all then. I'm going to go and do my own shit. And then y'all going to be on my dick later on when I'm successful. That's what you do, man. That's what I was saying yesterday. You got to learn how to deal with your own shit. If you a little bit weird, like Honcho said, just be that. That's you. Don't try to make yourself into something that you really not when you know that's what you are. Just everybody could just be comfortable with themselves, their own shit. Some people got, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got their shortcomings, man. And if people don't want to fuck with you because of one of your shortcomings, then fuck them.
Straight up.
It's just that simple. You just go and do your own thing, bro. It ain't about what everybody else think. It's more about what you think of yourself. You don't get self-esteem from another motherfucker. It's called self-esteem, stupid ass. You get it from yourself.
That's fact,
you know
right
what I'm saying? It's like that. It's not called shared esteem. It's self-esteem. Get you some. Find something within yourself that makes you happy. If nobody else think it's cool and you think it's cool, well, shit. You should enjoy it that much more because ain't nobody else fucking with it. You got more of it to yourself. Exactly. That's how I look at it. So fuck them.
Already,
stop
JD.
caring what other people think. Now, I do want to touch on the hood shit.
Okay.
One more thing with the hood shit, too. Another reason why the hood then got way worse than what it used to be. Back in the day, man, motherfuckers knew what it was that they was doing and the effect that it had on the community. They actually cared. Now motherfuckers don't care no more. So the love then left. And also the knowledge then left too. And also there used to be rules to it. Like back in the day, if you was a dope pusher, no kids, don't do none of this shit around the old folks and shit like that, you kept that shit separate. Now motherfuckers is doing it dead ass in front of their kids, babies and all that, like it ain't shit. So motherfuckers, there ain't no rules no more. Motherfuckers don't have the etiquette. You know what I'm saying? And respect. Etiquette and respect just done flew out the window. Chivalry, gone. Women done killed that shit. So all that shit about being nice, that's why now it's not cool to be PC no more. Oh, you a little, you know, you're such a little snowflake. You know, nah, man, fuck all that. Then you got the people that's on the opposite, complete extreme where everybody has to be PC. You can't call him or her or us. Man, get the fuck out of it. My nigga, you walk up in my game, stop talking like, hey, can I get the new Pokemon? I'm going to call you a him, my nigga. Your voice deeper than mine. And you get mad because I called you a dude? Bitch, your Adam's apple bigger than mine. You got an Adam's apple. Adam is a dude, so you a fucking dude. Fuck out of my face with that bullshit. Get your big, jolly, green giant ass out my motherfucking stove with all that shit. You mad because I called you a nigga. When you come up in here sounding like a goddamn nigga, I don't know what the fuck you is. Fuck out of here with that shit. That shit run me hot, man. I do not get that shit. Well, I want to identify as that. Motherfucker, let me see some ID. You know what I'm saying? Show me something that tell me what the fuck you is. Because, brother, I don't know. I took a guess. I was wrong. You could have just politely corrected me. And then if I refuse after that, I can see you have an issue. But if I'm just trying to make a guess, because, I mean, sometimes, come on, Honcho, I done hit this before. Sometimes you can't tell whether it's a male or a female. So you don't know to say sir or ma'am. So you just kind of try to let them feel it in. And then they look at you like, motherfucker, you can't tell what I am? No, bitch, I can't tell what you is, bro. Can't nobody in here. What the fuck I'm supposed to do? Draw up a survey? Write it on a chalkboard? Take a vote? Fuck out of here. We ain't taking no polls in this shit. Get your ass out my goddamn stove. See, that's brutally honest right there, Ed, man. Tell a motherfucker straight how you feel when they come at you with some dumbass shit. That's how you handle motherfuckers. Then they get the fuck out your face and they learn not to come back at you with no dumbass shit. Make your life a lot easier.
I can agree with that. Goddamn, Jay Dills, man. I appreciate the call, man.
All right, Chief.
All right. Oh, shit, man. I think that's a positive note to wrap that up on, man. Good grief. Oh, man, I'm dying about that shit. Can I get the new Pokemon? That shit was fucking funny, man. Because and that's the thing. Let's be honest, man. If you saw that video, let's be 1,000. If you saw that video, if you'd have listened to that video, no visual, and you just heard that shit, you would be fucking confused as to what the fuck was taking place. And Again, and shit, as soon as that nigga would have said, come outside and I'll show you a sir. Oh, man, we had to go ahead and catch a square. So you didn't identify it? Okay, well, cool. We finna go ahead and get it in there. So that way it ain't a hate crime, man. But yeah, we definitely gonna talk. We're gonna talk some more about it because there's been some real good conversations, and I think that we can explore a little bit more onto that topic tomorrow. So again, I appreciate all of y'all, man. Man. Shout out everybody who called in, man. Shout out Jamel. Shout out Ernest, Ed, man, Jay Dizzle. And again, Joshua. Appreciate everybody who called in, man. And I'm sorry, Lamel. I think my fault. Or did I make sure if I said Jay Lamel? I don't know if I said it the right way or not. But again, I appreciate everybody for coming in. We're gonna talk about that shit because also we're gonna talk about the hood tomorrow. And we talking about videos because I want to know because we gonna kind of explore a little bit more in that other video. If y'all hadn't seen, I know it was on Twitter, but it was the two little niggas of the little dude and his broad, and they was tearing up the Journey store. We're gonna talk about that a little bit more. I mentioned I think the other day. So if y'all hadn't seen that video, make sure y'all check that video out for tomorrow, and we're gonna have some conversation. We're gonna talk about the hood. We're gonna talk about hood behavior and just things that's going on. So if y'all hadn't seen that, man, check out Journey's Fight or whatever the fuck it's called. I'm sure it's on YouTube by now or something like that. But if not, I know it's definitely on Twitter. But with that being said, my friends in the den, I appreciate y'all. Again, Happy New Year. Somebody finna get got real quick. Let me go ahead and get my steel on and my bully on. All right, cool. Damn, I couldn't steal nothing from T'Challa. T'Challa, she must have got the pistachios in her purse or something, so I couldn't get to her. Damn, I gave you power, got me for the van. He punked me for my pistachio. Ain't that a bitch? That's not the way it ended up. But with that being said, hey, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Friends in the den, I appreciate y'all. Glad to see y'all made it into the new year. Everybody doing good, man. Like I say, make 2019 great again. That don't even make no fucking sense. But I'm out, man. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Y'all ain't got to go home, but y'all got to get the fuck up out of here. And I'm out.